the interest on this is equivalent to interest that I would pay in other places. The issue with this is Japan's whole economy was built on banks, schools, everything was built on 0% or negative interest. So everybody was coming over there, getting money from Japan, converting it to other currencies, and then saying, hey, here go your money back. Let me do this. And that's how Japan was getting the influx. And then what Japan was doing was taking that money and then buying U.S. bonds with it because the U.S. dollar was worth so much. Oh man. What I want to do right here is I want to explain something that we have to be prepared for. One of the things I want to explain right here is called the carry trade. Right? It's important that we understand this because this is going to be a real threat to everything that's going on right now. Now, if you in the Patreon, last year, you know this trade wrecked us. This trade wrecked us. This knocked the Mario coins out of our account last year. This knocked the Mario coins out of our account last year, and we was like, bruh. All right, so the carry trade, the Japan carry trade looks like this, y'all. Japan has had low interest rates 20, 30 years, right? And so because they had the low interest rate, what other countries was doing was they were going borrow money from Japan at 0 interest rates or low interest rates, sometimes even negative, and they would take that money and go invest it in the U.S., right? Now, we all understand that the U.S. financial markets are the best markets in the world. In the street, we understand this. I'm going to put it in the street terms, and I'm going to put it in this term. So in the street, what you'll do is you'll do what's called wholesale, right? So what you'll do is you'll buy some from the low over here. Like for me, I'll go downtown, I'll go uptown and get something that they got for the low. And because it got a different price downtown, I'll go downtown and sell it high. And then the profit, once I offset what I bought it from, is called the carry. Does that make sense? Let's say I get it for the low uptown for $3, right? I'm gonna use another number that I really like. Don't fault me for this. I get it uptown for $250, but I can go sell it downtown for $750, right? But then what I'll do is I'll take the difference off that, which is $200, and the $500 is the carry. Does that make sense? Does that make sense? That's the carry. Right? That's the carry. So that's why it's called the carry trade, because you get it from Japan, you borrow money from Japan at 0% interest, which means it's sweet. I can go get money over here for 0% interest. Now watch this, because this is gonna be interesting. So all my Forex people, this is why I'm gonna bring y'all in the loop. So now, you take the Japan currency, which is the yen, at 0% interest. Now, mind you, watch this. 155 yen equal $1 American dollar. All right? So 155 yen equal $1 US dollar. We got this? USD. We trapping or we trapping? All right? So what happens is, now, if I get, watch this, 155 billion yen, right? That equals to 1 billion USD. Now, mind you, I got to get this money from Japan with 0% interest, right? So then I can take this $1 billion and I gotta convert it. So what I do then is I bring it to the Forex market. Why? Because that's the currency exchange market, foreign exchange market. I bring it to the Forex market and I get to trade it like as. That's why the Forex market is so crazy. That's why so much money run through that Forex market. So watch this. I get to trade that money in the Forex market. Now, the 155 billion yen is now $1 billion. I get to trade it in the Forex market and then take it out for USD. And then I can pay Japan back the 155 and all the profit is the carry. Now, all that's fine and dandy until Japan inflation kicks in. So now when inflation kicks in, I can no longer get this money for 0% interest. Now, this money is not attractive to me no more. The interest on this is equivalent to interest that I would pay in other places. The issue with this is Japan's whole economy was built on banks, schools, everything was built on 0% or negative interest. So everybody was coming over there, getting money from Japan, converting it to other currencies, and then saying, hey, here go your money back. Let me do this. And that's how Japan was getting the influx. And then what Japan was doing was taking that money and then buying U.S. bonds with it because the U.S. dollar was worth so much. Oh, man. So then Japan was saying, okay, America, since you paid me the 155 billion yen back, I'm going to take that 155 billion yen and I'm going to buy U.S. bonds with it. And because your dollar is strong, the interest you're going to pay me going to be in USD. Do we see what's going on right here? Let's say America spent $1 billion to get 155 billion yen. 55 billion yen, they put that yen into the Forex market. They trade that yen in the Forex market, cash it out for cash, and then give Japan back the 155 billion. But now America takes that cash, distribute it how they want. But when Japan get the 155 billion, they say, bet, I understand the game. I'm gonna take the 155 billion and go buy $1 billion worth of U.S. bonds. And you gonna pay me in U.S. debt. That interest you're gonna pay me gonna be in USD. So that USD is stronger than mine, so now we sitting on USD. That's why Japan owns more US debt than China. Japan owns the most debt, so we paying them interest in USD, and we funding their economy with our strong dollar. The problem with all this is now Japan no longer has 0% interest. Inflation has now kicked in. And so because inflation has kicked in, what happens now? People say, hey, I don't want my money in that Japan. I don't want that Japan money no more. I don't want the yen no more. So what happens now is everybody now starts to do what? Cash out of the American money too. Why? Because they can't use that money to do what? Buy the assets because they was loaned in the Japanese money. Are we making sense here? So because it was loaned in the Japanese money and the interest rates go up, the money that I've loaned from you in Japanese money, now I'm losing money. Because if I borrowed it you at 0% interest and now you got 1, 2, or 3% interest, I got to get rid of that because I'm losing money. And I got to go take my U.S. money to try to pay that off so I don't lose money. So now what happens is that now affects the American economy. Why? Because we so wrapped up in loaning money from them. And now what happens is our dollar get weak. What happens when our dollar get weak? So now it takes more of our money to buy products. And so now our dollar don't get attractive. Oh, so we'll go a little further now we understand this. If Japan said, hey, if our inflation going up and the carry trade not going no more, we can't buy U.S. bonds no more. And outside of our own Federal Reserve and Warren Buffett, Japan, not China, is the biggest buyer of U.S. debt. Why? Because everybody was, y'all saw the circle. Well, now when Japan said we can't buy bonds, America need them to buy bonds so we could do what? Finance our debt. If Japan start buying bonds and we can't finance our debt, then our debt can do what? Default. And if we default on the debt, we ain't gonna never hit an end of Ray Dalio. Ray Dalio gonna cook us. I told y'all. And then we're gonna have to deal with China. Because if Japan starts saying, hey, bruh, let me get that bread. I need it. Watch this. Let me make that make more sense to you. Somebody can owe you money, and while you up and doing your thing, you ain't really tripping. But when it really get hard, you be like, hey, bro, don't you owe me $100? Man, let me get that money out you, dog. Japan can do that. Now, they probably can't get it all. They can say, hey, I got 800 billion over there. Hey, let me get 100. Let me get 100 billion out you, dog. I need that. Because that 100 billion gonna turn into, that 50 billion gonna turn into, and they gonna need that to do what? Fund their economy. But guess what? They gonna lose too, because if our bond markets keep increasing, then what they got already from them selling now makes their money lose more money. Come on. Well, how, Trap? Well, if Japan starts selling U.S. bonds, that means the bonds now get what? Less attractive. So they got to do what? Increase what? The rate on the bond. If they keep increasing the rate on the bond, then the people who bought the bond right here, they lose money. So the more you sell, the more you devalue what you had. So they become in a tight place like, hey, I can't get the whole 8. So watch this. Here's the crazy part about this all. Imagine somebody owing you money, but you can't get all of it because if you get it, you actually lose money. Imagine that. Imagine somebody, as an American, we're never gonna talk about that. Imagine I owe you $1 million, but you can't really get the whole $1 million from me, because if you get the whole $1 million, it probably gonna be worth $500,000. If you try to get the whole thing. So it really look good on paper. So you rather me not default so I can pay you the interest than you collect the whole thing.